Don't you just love E3 season? All the leaks, potential new games, announcements, and all things bright and shiny for the rest of the generation, E3 is the one event in gaming that tends to cross over into mainstream entertainment coverage. As such, every major company has either a conference or a live stream planned. From Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo to Bethesda, EA, and Square Enix, all have been saving up their biggest reveals, the current absence of news coverage being indicative of that build towards June 12th to 14th. Across the board, we've got plenty to pick apart, and as for sources on all of this, check the links in the description for all sorts of more in-depth info. I'm Scott from moreculture.com, and this is E3 2018, every leaked video game you're not supposed to know about. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to stay notified. Ding, ding, done. Number 14, Just Cause 4. After one proof-of-concept feeling game and a sequel that was genuinely outstanding, Just Cause 3 kinda let the side down by being a little bit too much of what went before. The idea to focus on main man Rico Rodriguez was ultimately a misfire, and that was before you got to the technical side of just how poorly it performed on consoles. For Just Cause 4, hopefully developers Avalanche can bring across the lessons learned on car combat from Mad Max, twinning it with a playful anarchic sensibility that could make this the best installment yet. Number 13, Final Fantasy VII's Remake, now on Xbox One. Now here's a turn up for the books. We knew that Final Fantasy VII's Remake was coming, I mean that part isn't a leak, but to appear on Xbox One after over a year of supposed PlayStation exclusivity, that is a major get for Xbox fans. The reasoning is likely down to Square Enix needing to recoup as many funds as possible, being that the multi-disc, multi-episode rollout of the final product is likely costing them a pretty penny. At this stage, Square Enix aren't bound to anything platform-specific, and the earlier marketing surrounding Final Fantasy VII being tied to Sony was more inferred rather than being officially nailed down. Number 12, WWE 2K19. You knew it was coming, we knew it was coming, I mean it's inevitable at this point. 2K's next WWE game is about to be revealed as it is every year. Though the key question is, will they be able to deliver a game that is 1, playable and enjoyable, 2, technically proficient, and 3, able to live up to the older SmackDown titles from the 2000s? The answer to all 3 is almost definitely not, but as the only wrestling game in town for WWE fans, we can hope that 2K want to release something that's as enjoyable and bombastic as the product itself. Number 11, Dreams. One of those, remember this kind of postings? Dreams is the next project from Media Molecule, the team that brought you Little Big Planet. Set to let you mold anything from nothing, seriously, I mean just look at it, Dreams is centered on sculpting forms and various interactive mechanics before imbuing sentience and physical properties to them to create your own experiences in games. It's about as high concept as you can get, and felt very much like the next step from Little Big Planet if you blew up all the foundations and started all over again. The only problem has been that this seems a little bit too ambitious. With so many potentials on the table, how do you even design an interface that lets millions of players create anything from scratch? I mean, I don't certainly have the answer, but hopefully we'll see a little bit more at E3. Number 10, Assassin's Creed. Either a 2018 sequel or a reboot. At the time of writing, all we have for this is a listing that plainly states Assassin's Creed, which makes me think of two possibilities. One, it's a full-on reboot. Assassin's Creed Origins ended with both Bayek and Aya forming the Hidden Ones as their first incarnation of the Assassins themselves, leaving the series open to soft reboot territory. Assumedly, we then get a new Desmond kind of figure, a host of new abilities, and a fairly new direction for the coming canon to mold itself around. Or number 2, it's another sequel, but the specific subtitle is yet to be announced. I can only imagine that if this is the case, Assassin's Creed will get pride of place at Ubisoft's conference, likely closing out the show if Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a no-show. Number 9, Black Ops 4 Battle Royale, standalone on Switch. The question rages on as to why Fortnite hasn't made its way to Nintendo Switch, but if Epic aren't planning on plugging the whole first Battle Royale on Switch gap, it looks like Activision will do it instead. Foregoing the idea of porting the entire game across to the system though, it looks like Blops 4 will make like Doom and release in segmented fashion. In this case, the Switch is only getting the Battle Royale standalone version of the latest game, hopefully optimized enough to run without too many problems. It'll mark the first Call of Duty on Switch hardware, but not the first Call of Duty on a Nintendo system, as the Wii U saw both Black Ops 2 and Ghosts in 2011 and 2013. At least with this precedent, we know that the whole proper Call of Duty experience is very much doable. Number 8, Dragon Quest Builders 2. How addictive would Minecraft be if it had more of a defined structure? Insatiably so, said Square Enix, as they designed Dragon Quest Builders to have all of the experimental world-building delights of Mojang's phenomenal 2009 release, but with solid combat, characters, quest givers, and a whole world to go explore. The result was a game that ticked both boxes, the former only feeding naturally into a network of townships and communities that were a joy to maintain and grow. Who knows where Squeenix will go from here, but what was accomplished first time round remains incredibly impressive and worthwhile. Number 7, LEGO DC Villains. Actually leaked a good few months back thanks to a CV listing giving away development had begun, it looks like Traveler's Tales' next port of call will be delving into the archives of DC villainy. You have to imagine that they greenlit the project right around the time Suicide Squad was also gearing up to supplant the DCEU with a lovable set of rogues and anti-heroes, only for that to crash and burn like very few things have in entertainment history. Still, Traveler's Tales LEGO titles have a remarkable track record, and though the Toys to Life experiment LEGO Dimensions has now been canned, there are more than enough villains in DC's pantheon to bring about sizable interest. Number 6. Pokémon Switch. Said to be a demonstrable upgrade from Sun and Moon with a revamped graphics engine to take full advantage of Switch hardware, Pokémon Switch doesn't have a name at time of writing, but should easily live up to its reputation as the first Pokémon game on home console. The graphics are said to be somewhere between Sun and Moon and Pokken Tournament, the latter bringing our favourite pocket fighters into HD rendering with style and cuteness throughout. To be honest, just being able to play Pokémon in full HD will be enough for millions of fans. But whether Nintendo have learned any lessons from Pokémon Go or have any other peripheral-based ideas in mind, like a Nintendo Labo Pokéball to throw about or something like that, we'll have to wait and see. Number 5. Splinter Cell. Teased over the years by Ubisoft themselves and finally included in Ghost Recon Wildlands' latest DLC, we knew that Sam Fisher was returning for quite some time. Best of all, voice actor Michael Ironside is back in the driver's seat, bringing Fisher to life even in the DLC, with a mix of baritone and gravel throat brilliance. The biggest question going into the first Splinter Cell since 2013's badly received Blacklist is just how Ubisoft will apply their standard open-world crafting component template to a stealth game. MGS5 did the whole open world thing by peppering missions across an open world and asking you to drop in wherever you like. But can you see Sam Fisher using modes of transport to get around? I mean, I just can't. At least Sam's back though, I mean hell, we've missed you buddy. Number 4. Devil May Cry 5. Though it's been seen on various actors' CVs over the years, Capcom themselves have now said they'll be releasing 2 major games before March 2019. One of these is sure to be the return of Dante and the soft reboot feeling Devil May Cry 5. Going off another leak from December 2017, the details of which you can find on the channel, DMC is firmly back in the hands of Capcom, alongside series maestro Hideaki Itsuno. Itsuno is responsible for making the installments of DMC that made the franchise soar in the first place, and we're apparently getting a return to albino Dante, alongside various stylistic camera tricks and a moveset that rolls together the past handfuls of installments into one. In short, it's the return of gaming's coolest character, and he has been away for far too long. Number 3. Starfield, Bethesda's new RPG. Subject of various shared universe game theories before it was even given breath, Starfield is apparently Bethesda's next and most ambitious RPG. Set to do for space travel and Mass Effect-style interracial alien interactions what Fallout and Elder Scrolls did for nuclear wastelands and fantasy landscapes, it's been many years since Bethesda released a brand new IP. Sadly, there's very little we know about Starfield other than the name, which is why it makes perfect sense to drop in the middle of Bethesda's own conference. Number 2. Borderlands 3. In development for many years until Gearbox's Randy Pitchford said it was no secret that Borderlands 3 was coming, the final part of this elongated trilogy will hopefully release at the perfect time. Not only did Borderlands pretty much invent and perfect the whole loot shooter idea, but because Destiny's fanbase has waned considerably, and Destiny 2's current reputation is in the pits, it's about time Gearbox returned to the sorts of heights associated with everything they made before Battleborn came along. Loot, quirky characters, endless configurations of guns, and tons of fun targets to shoot to bits, Borderlands is a series made for gamers, and we'll all be glad to have it back. Number 1. Gears of War 5. Yes, finally! Not finally in regards to another Gears of War, although that is solid in itself, but at least one of the games on this list is an Xbox One exclusive. Wahey! Set to continue the story initially dropped back in Gears of War 2 and 3 about Queen Mira's origins and her humanoid appearance, Gears 4 ended by confirming character Kat's grandmother bore the same logo as the Queen herself. All of those story ramifications aside, Gears has an identifiable, lovable gameplay style, and it always has since its debut. The fourth installment didn't shake things up too much, to be honest, adding the option to mantle over cover and a whole host of fatality-style quick kills, but that was about it. Aside from all this, Gears of War 5 needs to follow in the footsteps of Uncharted 4's older Drake and God of War's reimagined Kratos. Just give us a whole campaign playing as the curmudgeonly old Marcus Phoenix. His rants about his enemies trashing his tomatoes in Gears 4 were just too good not to capitalize on.
They're gonna mess up my fucking tomatoes!
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also there's probably more content floating up above my head, so why not check that out as well? Could be a laugh. Probably. 6 out of 10.